Hello, today I'm going to present research that investigates how the iReady program influences student achievement on the ACAP or the Alabama Comprehensive Assessment Program. The focus of the study was to compare how structured, data-informed preparation, like iReady, compares to unstructured, teacher-led preparation impacting proficiency scores in grades 3 through 5 on the standardized test. The identified problem in this research was the inconsistency in how schools prepare students for high-stakes testing. Despite the known importance of ACAP, preparation varies rather widely, from structured programs like iReady to no formal preparation usage at all within a school. To address this, I decided to compare ACAP proficiency scores over a 2-year period between two different schools. One being Saraland Elementary, which requires iReady usage weekly up to between a 30 to 45 minute range, and Robert E. Lee Elementary School, which does not require iReady weekly usage whatsoever. The data revealed quite a significant performance gap. For example, in math during the 2023 to 2024 school year, Saraland students outperformed their counterparts by up to 20 percentage points. This is a staggering amount, and this trend held true across all subjects, including math, ELA, and science. This research is grounded in Lev Vygotsky's zone of proximal development and theories of formative assessment, emphasizing the role of targeted support in learning. Literature also shows adaptive programs like iReady can personalize learning, provide real-time data, and close academic gaps rather effectively. Programs offering individualized instruction have been shown to improve proficiency by up to 15%, which is 30 minutes of weekly use. Conversely, unstructured methods relying solely on curriculum pacing guides often fail to meet the individual learning needs of students. Now, when we look at these two schools, Robert E. Lee and Saraland Elementary, Saraland is a school that requires a minimum of 30 minutes of weekly use in both iReady reading and iReady math, 45 minutes being the maximum weekly usage that they require. Robert E. Lee does not have iReady implemented as a program, so they are not receiving this benefit of increasing proficiency by up to 15% with those 30 minutes of use weekly. Let's break down the action plan that goes behind this research. Purposive sampling was used to select two demographically similar schools, being Saraland Elementary and Robert E. Lee Elementary Schools. The sample consisted of students in grades 3 through 5 over the course of two consecutive school years. The ACAP test served as the primary instrument used when this research was conducted. It is a state standardized assessment with validated reliability. iReady data was also referenced, particularly the 45-minute weekly usage expectation that occurs at Saraland versus the lack of this expectation at Robert E. Lee. Let's look at collaborative efforts. The study involved collaboration with both schools and used publicly available data. Administrative permissions were secured, and ethical standards were followed throughout this entire research process. The data collection included ACAP scores, chronic absenteeism, and demographic data. iReady usage patterns were also reviewed to confirm implementation consistency. Internal validity was ensured by controlling for variables such as grade levels, socioeconomic status, and instructional time spent. External validity is somewhat limited due to the narrow sample, but the findings are still informative and still inform similar school settings statewide. During this research, there were several ethical considerations that had to be taken into account throughout this process. One being confidentiality. During this research, it had to be ensured that no personal identifiers were collected, only de-identified public data was used. Another consideration was special populations. No special populations were singled out. The study encompassed general education students across the board. During this research, IRB and other protocols were taken into consideration. IRB approval was secured. Consent and permission forms were completed and included in the appendices. FERPA compliances were also abided by. All student data collection adhered to FERPA regulations to protect privacy. The data confirmed that students at Saraland Elementary who consistently used iReady had significantly higher proficiency scores on the ACAP test. For instance, in both years of data, Saraland outscored Robert E. Lee across all 3 subjects tested. The largest gap appeared in math, with about 20% percentage points in 2023-2024. These 20 percentage points fell in Saraland's favor. And again, Saraland Elementary did use iReady as a preparation program, which is a formal preparation program, which is in contrast to Robert E. Lee's lack of a formal preparation program, whereas they follow a pacing guide and their instruction is teacher-led. The data collected also showed that more students at Saraland achieved level 3 or 4, which is indicative of mastery levels on the ACAP testing scale. All of this information goes to show that structured, adaptive programs like iReady directly support student achievement and test readiness. To show measurable student achievement growth, the study looked for continued increases in proficiency levels over time, especially from students who moved from levels 1 or 2 into levels 3 or 4. A 10% increase in proficiency among historically underperforming subgroups would also be a clear indicator of effective intervention. This change would validate that the iReady program is helping to close those gaps, not just maintaining them. And a lot of this with iReady is due to the personalized or tailored instruction in each subject area based on the user. And it also, so essentially this means that it is working to specifically meet the needs of the students, so everyone's iReady path will be different, and everyone will have that 15% proficiency rate increase by using it 30 to 45 minutes a week. Looking back, there are a few changes that I would consider when undergoing this research. The first thing I think that I would change is widening the sample to include more schools across the district or state to enhance the generalizability. Only collecting data from 2 schools, that is a bit of a hindrance because it does not show an overall scale. I would also like to add a qualitative component, such as a teacher or student interview. I believe that this could provide more insight into user experience and instructional fidelity from both sides, from Saraland, who uses the formal program, and Satsuma, which does not, Robert E. Lee Elementary. I would also like to monitor fidelity of implementation more closely at Saraland. I think this would help to ensure that all students are meeting the 45-minute weekly goal. That would help me to know if the research is solid throughout. Although whenever I discussed this research with them, they did say that they require 30 minutes from all of their students weekly, but that their goal is 45 minutes. It would be nice to know if they are, or to study more closely to see if they are hitting more at that 30-minute range in grades 3 through 5, or if more of the classrooms, their students are closer to the 45-minute range. I think that would improve the plan overall. For future research, I think that it should explore the impacts of iReady over multiple years, the comparisons between other adaptive learning platforms, the role of the teacher engagement in facilitating this program use, and how iReady use affects specific subgroups such as English learners or students with IEPs. In conclusion, the data strongly supports that a structured preparation program like iReady positively impacts student achievement on the ACAP testing. The study aligns with existing research supporting data-informed, individualized instruction. With consistent implementation, programs like iReady can significantly reduce achievement gaps and better prepare students for academic success over schools that do not have a formal preparation program like iReady.